Danny Trejo here. I want to give you a word of advice. Do not go out there. Always trust your gut.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode.
All right, guys, let's get into the film review. We're kicking off a new theme, Brother Mike's theme. You want to announce your theme, then Brian can announce his pick, kicking us off?
Of course, brother. I went with, again, like I said on last week's show, I went with Thriller Month. Try to do something a little different, step outside our normal box, and get a little bit of a different genre of film. And technically, not every thriller is a horror film or a horror movie, but I think every horror movie could be a thriller, depending on how you look at it. And so I was like, this is horror adjacent stuff. And of course, I love the way that we've publicized it as Michael Jackson Thriller. You can actually find yours truly doing the full Thriller dance if you look up LWHS Class of 10 Thriller on YouTube. You can find me. I'm the only fucker in orange football pants doing it, okay? So, anyways, go ahead, Brian, with your pick. You can find that, though. You absolutely can. I was good, too.
Cool. I'll find it. It's going to get posted on our socials.
That's fine. I want it there, buddy. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I picked 2015's Sicario. The writer, Taylor Sheridan, one of my favorite writers in the game right now. I'm a big Yellowstone fan, 1923. Even the second Sicario I really like a lot. I feel like he knows how to write real life. Even the dialogue in Yellowstone, you just have to see it. But real life is exactly one of the reasons why I love this movie so much. Also why movies like this get so much slack. They're even called racist because people don't want to talk about real life. I mean, people want to live in a bubble, and more power to them. But that's why I like movies like this. Had I not, by the grace of God, fallen into the job I have now, I actually wanted to be and probably would have been Special Forces. And I love the different POV on this script. It almost feels like a documentary in a sense. But, again, I love the realism. And I mean, fuck, this is happening right now. I mean, the illusion of rules and the engagement of war is just exactly that. It's an illusion. And, it's the grit in this, the way it's shot. I just loved everything about this flick. And I may be the only one amongst us four, based on knowing y'all's tastes. I kind of feel like that I'm going to be. I would imagine I am. But, I mean, hey, that's what makes the show great. 2015's Sicario.
All right, I'll go next, and I'll just piggyback right off Brian. I didn't think the movie was bad, Brian, just so you know that. But I think you do know that it's not my particular niche. And I'll touch on why I think at the end this movie just didn't hit that, like that upper echelon level. But I did think the movie was good. Like, how could I slander Taylor Sheridan, one of the best writers out right now? Denis Villeneuve, I mean, he's one of the best directors out right now. I mean, he's made a lot of good movies from what I've heard. Like, he's highly respected. But I'll touch on my qualms with the movie, but everything, like production-wise, acting-wise, was very good. Mike, you want to go next with your thoughts on Sicario?
Yeah, so I had never seen this movie nor heard of it before Brian picked it, which again, I like to pride myself. I've at least heard of a movie, but I'd never heard of this movie. And so I went in completely blind, and I got to say, I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm not going to sit here and say it got really up there at the upper echelon of some of these kind of movies that we've done, but I think it was good. And you know what really carries it, and I'll talk about it a lot in my notes, is strong acting performances. I don't think there's a bad acting performance in this movie. So star-studded cast. Honestly, most of the stuff I see Emily Blunt in that isn't horror related or whatever is like kind of kid stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see her in a role that I'd never seen her in or pictured her in. Now, again, if there's other movies, I'm not familiar with her game, but this is kind of the first time I'd seen her in a role like this. And I thought she was really, really good. You know, Benicio del Toro's good. Daniel, I always mess up his last name. He's good. I'll let Dustin say the last name. It sounds a lot better. Although I will say, Dustin, I want to point out up here on the top, your man, Danny Kaye there, in every movie he's in, like snow bunnies. What's going on with this man?
Art imitates life.
That's all I got.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know what his preference is in real life, but
Brian, I am glad you picked it because I liked it a little more than I thought I would. I will say that. And again, the drug cartel trade movies aren't really normally for me. I feel like how I feel about them the way Nico feels about mafia or mob movies, right? Where they're just like, you can acknowledge that this may be good, but it's not for you. You find it boring. Typically with this genre of film, I do find it slightly boring, but not this one. I thought it was good. Not great. I have some problems. It drags in times. No reason to be 2 hours, just like I'm dragging with my talking right now.
yeah.
Nico doesn't like mafia movies?
That's what he said.
Really no.
No,
Yeah,
he's talked
he's
about
wrong.
that before where he doesn't want to watch The Godfather and he doesn't, and something about Scarface too, right? You're just it's not doing it for you.
Well,
I've
Literally.
seen
I think-
them. My mom loves them, but they're just not for me.
It's literally my favorite genre of movie. So I think Nico just did it to be personal, but it's fine. So
This isn't Brian we're
Sicario-
talking about. It's Nico. You're fine. Sorry for the dog.
So Sicario is a movie that I thought that I had seen. Turns out I had not. I don't know what movie I was thinking of that I had seen, but
Sicario Dawson.
I watched it. Sicario Dawson. That's what I named it in our notes. But I liked it. I thought it was a really good movie. I mean, talk about an upper echelon cast. I mean, Emily Blunt, Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, John Bernthal, Victor Garber, who's been in literally everything that anyone's ever seen. He's been in it all. Daniel Kaluuya, and Jeffrey Donovan from Burn Notice fame. They all delivered. Like the entire cast delivered. I thought that I agree. It drags a bit in times, but overall, it's great cinematography, incredible score, and yeah, it's a solid movie. It definitely feels
Nice.
like I've critiqued movies on the show before for being too unrealistic. Like I can suspend my disbelief when it comes to like a zombie killer wearing a hockey mask that just kills a bunch of teenagers. Like I can suspend my belief there. But when a movie's supposed to be real, Law-Abiding Citizen is the movie that comes to mind because I'm pretty sure I said it on that episode. Like that's a movie that's completely plausible, but some of the stuff that happened is like no shot, and that
Right.
everything in this movie is 100% believable. So I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, that's really the way Taylor Sheridan writes his movies, man. A lot of his. I know you haven't seen Yellowstone. I know you haven't seen those
I've
shows.
seen a couple episodes, but
Or Landman. It's just very realistic.
Yeah,
And
Landman's great.
that's
Fucking Billy Bob
that's why I
Thornton
like
is
it so
awesome.
much.
He's fantastic. Also,
how would you know?
I- Huh?
Oh, you were using
Yeah.
that as an
There was a
adjective, not
comma.
verb.
Yeah, there was a comma in there too. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
all right. Anyway, come on, man. Jesus Christ. Slug it from the bag, Dustin. Anyway, I was actually about to agree with you and say I agree. The cinematography is excellent in this movie. I love the way the movie's shot and the way the movie looks. The aesthetic and the feel of the movie is one of its best strong points for sure.
Brian or Mike, as to your last comment that was directed and addressed to me, tell you what, I won't do that because that's not how business is done.
Why you say fuck me for?
Hey, for me and Brian's favorite movie. Here's a line from American Pie 2 for you, Dustin. I'll get you a spoon so you can eat my ass. Let's go.
All right, guys. I'm going to be doing the scene by scene tonight. For some reason, I said I would. Does anyone have any other opening thoughts before I get going? All right, here we go. The word Sicario comes from the Zealots of Jerusalem, killers who hunted the Romans who invaded their homeland. In Mexico, Sicario means hitman. In America and Canada, it means Bret Hart. We see a neighborhood in Chandler, Arizona, with the SWAT team approaching the house, and we see two familiar faces to our program, Emily Blunt and Daniel Kaluuya. The score is intense, and for a reason. The SWAT team busts through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man, and like a scene out of a video game, a man opens fire when Emily Blunt sees what's behind door number 2. She smokes him, though, and then they find dead bodies hidden behind some fresh drywall work. But it wasn't their hostages. Later, we see that basically every 16 inches is a different corpse. Talk about maximizing your capacity between studs. 35 dead bodies, and they haven't even checked the attic or crawl space. Wowzers. While continuing to search the property, a SWAT member finds a trap door in a shed, and it was the bomb. He had a blast. Kaboom. You get the picture. Anyway, a clearly shaken up Emily Blunt, whose name is Kate in this movie, cleans herself up later, and CNN talks about the concern over such massive cartel activity on American soil, and Kate and her partner Daniel Kaluuya, aka Reggie, are in the FBI office where they wonder what's going on. The bigwigs call Kate into a room, and they ask her how deep her knowledge of the cartel family is before Matt, aka Josh Brolin, asks if she's married, and then they tell her she'll be working with him as a liaison, and she accepts the duty. In Mexico, we see a boy wake his dad up to take him to a soccer match, and we get the idea that it's not the happiest of households based on the look of the wife when she looks at her husband at breakfast. Reggie drops Kate off at base, and Matt greets her at a private jet, and Alejandro implies to Kate that they're going to Juarez, not El Paso. That's the opening set of scenes. What do you guys think?
Okay, yeah. I mean, you guys mentioned it. I also love Emily Blunt, Krasinski. You know, I love her in these type of roles, especially. I mean, I know Mike mentioned not seeing her in roles like this. I mean, you should watch Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know why, but you know, ever since Edge of Tomorrow, like she's someone that is just so much damn range. I mean, like you mentioned, she can play a badass military chick and then go to Mary fucking Poppins. I mean, you know, like, I love her. She's one of my favorite actresses. Hell, she started in a badass fun fact here. She actually started filming this just 4 months after giving birth to her daughter, Hazel. That's pretty crazy. 4 months. Jeez. But Kaluuya is in this. And did anyone catch his name as Reggie Wayne? I mean, like, I wonder what happened to Reggie.
Man, they
after
should
his
have named
retirement
him
from the Colts.
Marvin Harrison. That's a real killer. Anyway.
Well. But again, you know, like I said, real shit here. And look no further than 1 month ago to the date that we're recording this, a town near Juarez, which we'll visit later in this movie, 41 bodies found in the walls of a house, all cartel work. So, story out of El Paso. Check that out. So it's real shit. And, you know, I know I brought it up some, but bravo to the way that this is shot. You know, of course, Villanueva deserves the credit, but also to cinematographer Roger Deakins. I mean, it puts you in the action. And, you know, goes so fast, it feels as real as anything that we've watched on the show anyway. You know, again, like a documentary almost. And besides the way it's shot, the sound design, you brought it up. Johan Johansson's work also did 2016's Arrival. But even when our boy Kaluuya is outside, or when they open that trap door that triggers the bomb out of fucking nowhere, but how it like simulates his ears ringing from the explosion. I love when movies do that. I've said that before. Honestly, no wonder he left the FBI after this and went to date that white woman and get out. You know, he's had a rough life. I mean, he's been through it. I haven't seen Nope, but I got to think that it didn't go as planned there either. But last thing I'll say, I love how they shoot this scene where Kate and Reggie are outside of that room and can't hear anything. Just reading body language, I almost wish that we never cut inside and heard any of the conversation. I think that would have been different. I mean, great cold open, though. Great open, period, in my opinion.
All right. So, again, we start off with a very star-filled cast. You know, right off the bat here, we get Blunt and I don't want to say Kaluuya because I know it's not right, but Kaluuya is where my mind goes because, you know, Kaluuya is green. What are we doing? What?
There's a Y in it. Kaluuya.
There's a Kaluuya. All right. I might be able to hit that a little bit. We'll play around with it. I honestly was not aware he was in movies. Come on, man. That's not that bad. Jesus. You guys got to get your mind. you guys got to get your minds in a better place. Is all I'm saying. I honestly wasn't aware that he had work this early. I really had only heard of him from Get Out first, and then the stuff that he's done since. So it was interesting kind of see him in a little bit of a different role for him, for me anyway. I still think The Wall is one of the worst places to hide bodies, right? Like, I can't imagine that's a effective plan, right? They smell the house up. They always get found. Guys like Dahmer bumfuzzle me because, like, dude, your house stinks. Eventually, people are going to catch on to that. It smells like rotting flesh. When you smell that smell, it's indistinguishable. Like, you know that's what that is. And so, anyway,
to be fair, I don't think the cartel's like worried about having people over for pie.
I know.
And,
I'm
like,
just
blending
saying.
in with the neighborhood, though.
I'm just
I
saying
think they're
you're
going to be
leaving
out of there pretty quick.
Sure. I'm just saying they're leaving a trail, a pretty easy one, right? I mean, that's all I'm saying. But also, it looked sad, I know to say this. It looked cool. Those bodies in the wall look cool. Cool visually, you know, the effects, not necessarily the fact they were in the wall there. Yeah, you mentioned Victor Garber in The Open. Love Victor Garber. He's Thomas Andrews in Titanic. He's asshole lawyer guy that tries to make a move on Elle and Legally Blonde. He's in fucking everything, like you mentioned. So great Rolodex of roles for him there. Honestly, this explosion that hits Blunt and she, you know, kind of knocks her back and gets glass in her eye and everything, I thought it looked really realistic for an explosion of that caliber. How it was done, how it was shot, the way the effects look. I thought it was really well done and a very believable explosion. It wasn't straight out of like a, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme or, you know, the 007 movie where it's just like massive explosion, everything goes to pieces. So I thought it looked really, really good. You know, we kind of get a lot of dialogue heavy here, you know, between agents. And I do want to point out, I feel like being married to one of these agents would be difficult. I don't know if I have that dog in me. You know, she mentioned she was divorced. You know, a lot of these FBI, CIA, a lot of these guys and girls do end up in a divorce. So it's a hard profession to be married to for sure. I will say this man's wearing fucking thong sandals at work, dog. And technically, if I wanted to, but I have a little more self-respect, I can wear thong sandals at work from what I do now too, but I don't. I put on my tennis shoes every day because I'm a fucking man. Thong sandals come on, man. Anyway, now if I did do her job, I would want, just like her, I'd want to be on these crazy task force. I mean, if you're going to do it all the way. Do the craziest work. I completely agree. Last thing I have, look at these group of people hopping on Brian's private jet. Way to loan that thing out to him, buddy. Go ahead, Nico.
Yep, that is Brian's private jet. Yeah, I'm just going to admit, this movie was kind of hard for me to take notes on just because it was like action and then kind of like dialogue. But Emily Blunt, Daniel Kaluuya being the first two faces I see on screen, hell yeah, brother, I like both of them. And as soon as this truck backs into folks' house, all I heard was the viral TikTok sound, "You can't park there." I thought that was funny to me personally. I'm glad he missed, but how did this guy who was cod camping the door miss Kate? Like, what are you doing, dude? But, you know, like y'all have mentioned all these bodies in the wall. Imagine being the FBI agents who find them. Like, I would be traumatized for life. Like, I don't know how, like, you recover from that, honestly. But it is hard for me to believe that the FBI would just cut a lock to some shelter below without some more thorough research. You know, perhaps a lapse in judgment based on what they found inside, perhaps, you know, just jumping the gun. But I thought that was just, I don't know, maybe moving a little too fast. Not sure why, but Kate showering and the blood running off of her was a powerful visual to me. You know, that's just the truth of what emergency responders, law enforcement, that's what they deal with. And I thought it was portrayed well by Emily Blunt. You know, it's good to see Josh Brolin, who I believe is making his second appearance on the show, with Hollow Man being his first. And I hope I don't steal anybody's fun fact, but he almost wasn't in this movie. He was exhausted from shooting another film, but cinematographer Sir Roger Deakins emailed him to join. Josh then joined the film, seeing how uncharacteristic that was for him. So good job for Josh. Not sure if I missed it, but was there a point to this whole introduction to this family and the Papa eating breakfast? When I was proofreading my notes, I wrote, yeah, there is a point, but kind of not really. They could have cut this scene, in my opinion. Brolin told the director, "I'll take the role, but I need to lie down immediately once we get on this plane for a nap." My guy said he's tired and I want to lay down. I thought it was an action-packed opening. There was a mysterious breakfast scene, but there was good foundation laid to what's to come later.
Yeah, we definitely see the dad from that breakfast later. He plays a pretty big role.
I know, but I mean, it's like, does that really do anything except just show him eating breakfast?
I mean, I think it drives home the fact that he has a wife and kid. Like, he it makes what happens to him more impactful, in my opinion. But I get
Right.
what
It's
you're
not
saying.
just some throwaway character that, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, he shoots in the head. It's like somebody that you as an audience kind of know a little bit, and you kind of at least have a little bit of feelings. But I do have on my notes here, I agree that it maybe is something that sounded better on paper than on the screen.
Yeah.
But anyway, go. Sorry.
Yeah, because I mean, you can tell the son looks up to the dad and like gets excited about him coming to a soccer match, and so
Right.
when we see that he doesn't make it to the soccer match, to me, it hit harder. But anyway, all right, second set of scenes. The flight takes off, and the peacefulness is broken up when Alejandro abruptly awakens from his nap, and he offers no insight to Kate when she asks about working the cartel. The trio joins Steve in an SUV, and they travel to a briefing for the Juarez expedition. Kate presses Matt for answers, and he says she can just stay, and he tells her if she wants answers, this is where they start. They make it into Mexico, and an armed convoy of federales joins them along the road. We see 4 naked corpses hanging from a bridge as they enter Juarez. Kate and crew make it to their destination, and the marshals bring a man out of the building in handcuffs with a sack over his head, Team Sack. And they're on the move again, and tension picks up as they're on high alert for threats. They get caught in the traffic jam at the border, and Alejandro spots potential danger a couple lanes over, and then a gun is spotted in another car. When one of the armed suspects exits the vehicle, it's go time. Our crew all exit the vehicle and try to de-escalate the situation, but it turns into gunfire. All of the armed suspects are handled. They leave the bodies lying in the road and head off. What do you think?
What a fucking set of scenes, man. And I love Del Toro's character in the entire movie. I mean, he's got a little more to work with in the second one, but I think that makes him just so much more of a badass in this one that he's so mysterious. In fact, Villanueva estimated that they cut 90% of what Del Toro was originally intended to say from Sheridan's writing, but apparently, like me, they all saw power in stripping that character down to just this brooding silence, saying, quote, that dialogue belongs to plays, and movies are about movement, character, and presence, and Benicio has all of that. Fuck yeah, he did. I thought that was fantastic. And again, I love how Sheridan wrote this from Kate's perspective. I mean, you feel almost like this fish out of water just watching this with her. I mean, not to mention for this role, she said that she based Kate's character on one of 4 female FBI agents that she spoke to in preparation for the role, whom she described as shy and with a loner quality to them. Kind of speaking of Mike's inability to hold a relationship comment that he said earlier. I mean, that's probably about right. And one of my favorite shots in this movie is here when they're driving through Juarez. Like I mentioned last episode, just so goddamn real. It's hard to read, but there's also this banner in Juarez that they pass, but the phrase "Los estamos observando" can clearly be seen, which translate to "We are watching you." And fuck, I mean, the body's hanging from the bridge. I mean, shit, man. Like I said, we live in a bubble. The shit that goes on just south of the border, even shit that goes on in Africa, like you see in one of my other favorite movies, Tears of the Sun. Shit is sickening. And to quote the agent in the front seat while they're stopped, those aren't firecrackers. And then the absolutely, to me, the best scene in the movie, which is saying a lot in my opinion, the scene at the border. I mean, goddamn, it's the cuts, the camera cuts, the quick cuts, the how quick the shit pops off, and they're on the move again. It's just unreal. Actually, that border crossing scene was one of the most complicated parts of the production, as you can imagine. It took so long to shoot that a full-scale replica of the Juarez border crossing was built because they could have never shut the border down for that long. And to me, I mean, movie is a 10 right now for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I always wondered how much more pleasant flying would be if you were able to do it in a jet like this instead of commercial. I don't know why Brother Brian hasn't asked us on his jet yet. We're still waiting. It's okay. We don't hate you. We still love you. But I mean, we would like to fly a little more comfortably is all. That's all I'm saying.
Fly? You're talking about fly?
I'm talking about flying, brother, on your jet that you let them borrow for the movie, but
Playoffs.
don't let your boys fly on. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I actually agree with something you said here, and it's the very second thing on my notes, which is Del Toro's absolutely perfect casting here. He looks like a grizzled veteran that wants to cut through that bullshit just off his appearance alone. And then the type of character that he's playing, you mentioned that like silent assassin type. Again, he has his motivations. Those are revealed a little bit later, but you can tell there's something off about him just a smidge, or something a little bit more to him than just this guy that the agency has hired here. And so I really liked the casting of Del Toro. I thought he was great in the whole fucking movie. I agree with some of this, stuff that Matt says in this little run on of dialogue in principle, right? I would much rather be on the ground floor of an investigation. He's speaking to Kate here. I'd much rather be on the ground floor getting my hands dirty than coming in at the very end and, to quote him, cleaning shit up. And so I actually really like this dialogue. It felt like a real conversation that agents have with each other. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if we have any that listen to this show. They're always listening though, brother. So like I mentioned in my open, the drug cartel is just never something that's been super interesting to me, as far as a movie genre or even like a documentary setting. And I think it's because I'm really far away from it, right? Like, I know you mentioned it's just south of the border, but I've lived in Florida and I've lived in South Carolina. That's it. And so it just isn't as prevalent in our part of the country to hear about it. And so, but I am intrigued about what's going on so far. I will say this area of the border looks like a shithole, looks like a dump, which I'll touch on a little bit later in the next set of scenes here. But, some of this feels like fluff though. I know you really like the set of scenes and I understand it, but man, we get riding with them in a car where nothing happens but them talking for about 8 minutes. Like, we're just following them in the car having a conversation. I just feel like some of that could have been cut down until they got to the scene where they were stalled and parked and were, parked outside their red car where they're about to have a standoff. Some of that could have been cut. It felt like a really long time to get there. I know they're building.
So you didn't really feel that tension?
Well, it's not that I didn't feel it.
Like you're talking about?
Actually, that's what I was about to say. I felt like we could have felt that tension in a shorter amount of time. The point could have gotten across more than, again, I didn't count it for sure, but it sure did feel like about 7-8 minutes that we were just kind of following their squad, their squad vehicle there, which felt like a little bit of a waste of time in a movie that's 2 hours long. Again, it just felt like the point of it was to show how busy the roads are. I don't know, but I do like where we end up going here, and the way that Del Toro's character approaches this, Alejandro, seems reckless as fuck. And again, I'm taking notes for the first time watching it. I'm like, it's got to be illegal. The way they're going about this has to be some really dumb, reckless shit. And I was right, by the way, that Kate reacted. There is some fluff in this set of scenes, but I think it kind of rounds off with something a little more exciting.
Yeah, my first thought on this set of scenes is thank God this movie was made in 2015, 2014, and not today. I'm not certain this flight would make it safely with what's going on recently with our flights and airplane and our pilots now. Alejandro, he scared the hell out of me when he woke up so suddenly from the nap. That was a pretty good jump scare, I'm not going to lie. My man Steve up front, he needs to go get checked. Yellow pee with blood spots, that's not good. You might have one of them old STDs, not hydrating like a champ. You might have one of them kidney failures. You need to get checked out, brother. Kate is already wondering what the hell is going on with this weird meeting, talking about drinking. Alejandro sitting off alone, not paying attention. This is a weird scenario, and I think Emily Blunt does a great job kind of, just portraying how weird the whole situation is. And, Kate is being really unreasonable right now as she wants to know, like, what the mission is she's getting into. Like, how dare she want to know what she's getting herself into? Like, I think she's being very unreasonable. I know Brian hated them, but the beautiful, the overhead shots, they were beautiful of the desert area. I really appreciated them. I'm going to state the obvious here, but if I need 4,000 troops to protect me going somewhere, I'm not going. Like, that just seems like a very dangerous location, and I'm just going to stay at home and watch Jason Lives again. But Mike, I'm right there with you, brother. Maybe I'm being harsh, but this convoy of SUVs driving to the next location, to me, it's taking a really long time to get to the next spot. But it does pick up when Alejandro starts spotting cars that look suspicious. I wasn't sure if he was just frustrated with traffic or was ready to kill some bad folks. Either way, though, I get it. I've driven in Tampa. It's miserable. Good review talk here, but I would lose my mind if I was stuck in traffic and that dog wouldn't stop barking. Like, shut the hell up, man. I'm with you, Kate. I'd be nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, seeing all these guys holding guns, getting out the cars. Like, what the hell is going on? I did wonder, like, why isn't there all kinds of screaming in traffic? I would be terrified. Are they just used to this happening every day? I thought Kate, with some elite awareness right now, catching this shooter in the rearview mirror. Andrea from Walking Dead, episode 2, I believe. She would never. Go ahead.
Very true. Very true.
Before we do the next set of scenes, Brian, you mentioned how much of Benicio del Toro's dialogue was cut. I had that as one of my fun facts, and I put he must have taken notes from Voice of the California Angels, Ranch Wilder. Less is more. So I had to throw that out there. And then you also mentioned Emily Blunt's preparation, meeting with the FBI agents. That's awesome. I love dedication to a character. However, I shared this with y'all the other day. I have to say it again. My favorite dedication that I've ever seen from an actor was Terrence Howard for Hustle and Flow. He interviewed 123 pimps and 78 prostitutes over 2.5 years, and he lived with 4 different pimps, including a month-long stint in a Memphis brothel. That's dedication, brother.
Dedication. Dedication.
Mine. Anyway, all right. Kate and company arrive back at their base with their objective, and she freaks out about what they just did. Matt tells her to relax and take notes and heads inside. Matt tries to talk to Guillermo, but he says he doesn't speak English. Alejandro speaks with Rafael, who tells him if he's doing what he thinks he's doing, there's a tunnel to Arizona. That's Fausto's main road, and it will be helpful. Alejandro goes into the room with Guillermo and Matt and uses an inconvenient interrogation method. We don't see what he does, but with his crotch so close to Guillermo's face, that's probably for the best that we didn't see it. Later, the main trio head out of the building, where Reggie meets them outside, and they're going to Tucson. When they get there, they meet with a large group of immigrants that were stopped at the border, and Alejandro wants to talk with the ones who were from Nogales. While he examines the hands of the ones who have been to Arizona before, Reggie grows tired of being in the dark and asks Matt what's going on. Matt tells them that Guillermo told them about the tunnel, and they're going to make enough noise that Manuel Diaz is called back across the border by his boss, and Reggie is satisfied with that answer, and Matt tells him to go home and get some rest. The next morning, Kate looks at pictures of crime scenes on her laptop, and we catch back up with our family in Mexico. Happy as ever. Except the dad isn't there now. He's working. Kate and Reggie meet up with Matt and Alejandro at a motel where some immigrants are telling them about the tunnels on a map. Matt tells Kate they're going to need some help from Phoenix SWAT because they're going to F with Manny Diaz's wallet. Go ahead.
I'm going to F with it. I'm mixed on the set of scenes. I mean, we have a ton going on in this. I do love seeing Del Toro in action early in this interrogation scene, kind of solidifying, if we didn't see that in the border gunfight that we just got, but, just kind of going a step further to be like, okay, like this dude is a fucking badass and we are off all the legal books here. And guess what? Everybody's in on it. I mean, shit, like I said, shit pops off and, that's just the way it is off books sometimes. Should we have that scene though? I don't know, because I'm kind of torn on it. So much of this movie has been just from Kate's perspective. I kind of wish maybe we only saw her on the roof watching the explosions and we kind of only saw the movie from her perspective the whole time. I kind of said that in the first set of scenes too. This was another one of the sets that I kind of felt that way about. It's definitely a mix and I like it, but I almost really just wanted that, if that makes sense. And we just discussed this a little bit, but this is where I kind of talked about that subplot with the Mexican cop that we see and, how that plays out, obviously, at the end of the movie. I can definitely see how, you would say it could be seen as not important. I think Sheridan obviously wrote it so that you have some sympathy for the officer. I mean, yeah, I think it works because that dude's in a situation where he's doing what he can, all he can do, I'm sure, to provide for his family. And he maybe made a wrong decision, but, we're not in that position. Maybe we would do the same thing. I feel like I probably would. But I can definitely see how, it could possibly be cut if you think the runtime is long. I mean, I don't, but I can definitely see that. What I did laugh at is Reggie and Kate showing up at the motel for the next briefing and what's the password? Moron. I laughed. I don't know. It was just a little thing. Not much comedy in this, and so that made me laugh. Another good set of scenes, but yes, I do think that it was a little bit of a step down from what we got in the first two.
Yeah, I mean, it starts off with exactly what I said at the end of the last set of scenes, right? That shit was dumb and it was illegal, but it worked. It was effective. So you have one cop that wants to do it by the book. Haha. You can check that shirt out over at don'tgoouthere.com. I do want to say thank God for subtitles because I didn't understand what was going on and subtitles were a savior here. I was like, oh, okay, great. I got what's going on. Or at least it was translated subtitles. I actually like this little interrogation scene quite a bit. It's not like some big, long, drawn out courtroom drama interrogation scene, right? It's that Del Toro kind of getting across how fucking evil this Alejandro character is, or how evil he can be when pushed to be. And so I think it's really well acted, well performed here. And I love the way it's shot. It's dark, it's dirty, it's gritty. I really liked it. These some bitches right here smoking cigs. Cigs are bad for you guys. I don't know if you know that. Don't smoke cigs. Anyway, Tucson, we're headed out to, oh wait, really quick before I get there, beautiful shot of the sky here. Beautiful nature shot. Shout out to Brian. I'm sure he was having a good time with those. There's a couple of these throughout the film. They do a really good job of capturing the essence of how beautiful it is out there. Tucson, as some would say, the land of my people. Like I told y'all in the chat, it's sad what's happened to Nogales on the border there. I'd been there as a kid a couple times, and it was a beautiful border town, and you can't even go there anymore without a badge or without legal authority because it's gotten so bad, taken over by the drug cartel. So if the movie got anything really, really accurate and correct, it is what's happened in Nogales across the border of Arizona there. So that kind of tied into me personally. So that was kind of cool. It's such a trope to have a cop boss like Matt in these cop movies, right? Especially with the women agents where he kind of tries to tell her exactly what to do and downplay what she can do. And, you worry about this and we'll worry about that. It's just, I don't know. I kept thinking of Miss Congeniality for some reason, because in that movie, they try to tell her she can't do shit and she ends up saving the day both times. So that's kind of where my mind went. So again, I will say this Hispanic woman that made this, plate of food, that shit looked bussin'. That shit looked delicious. I wanted a little bite of that. I fucking, man, those tortillas are like they were homemade. That shit looked delicious.
Bussin', man, your old man yells at the cloud nowadays, man. You can't say that.
No, sir. I'm still younger than you. So anyway, again, I like Daniel Kaluuya here. I think his really slow delivery and kind of lower voice makes the character. It's so opposite of what we've gotten from Emily Blunt so far. Just makes it a very believable agent of the law. And I think that he does a good job. Decent set of scenes here, although I sat through a lot of them just kind of standing the fuck around, man. Like, why do we have so much standing around or driving around? I don't understand. Anyway, other than that, it was a good set of scenes.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Damn, that
Hell
was
yeah, brother.
Damn, that was wrong. My bad.
Oh yeah,
We'll
Kaluuya.
butcher his name bad.
Hey man, I'm never going to get it right. Kaluuya and cream.
Oh, it's all good.
Laotian? What ocean?
At least you didn't say Sigourney Weiner.
Or Scareface.
All right, I thought the conversation between Alejandro and this other agent, I couldn't find his name, I'm sorry, but I thought it was interesting. I'm intrigued where this goes, and they bring up this mysterious tunnel. I'm excited to see where it goes. Last time I saw someone bound to a chair in a movie, they had rats pulled her to their throat, so I'm quite thankful we didn't see what happened to this guy. I'm not going to pretend I'm super learned in Juarez, Mexico, but man, I'd be so scared living in a place with that much gunfire, all the explosions going on, all this gang and cartel violence. I would be terrified just living everyday life. I love the confidence in Reggie. Hell yeah, I think I can do better. And instantly calls Matt over and questions him. Loved it. I only got 2 more points, Dustin. I don't believe Matt or Alejandro whatsoever in their exchange with Kate and Reggie. Boys look like smooth talkers to me, and I don't trust them. Not much note-taking, a lot of dialogue and plot building. Not bad, but the movie is quite slow to me at this point.
Nico,
Right.
if you've ever seen, no, never mind, you haven't seen, but if you ever do watch Casino Royale, the James Bond first movie, that's a tied to the chair scene that you will never forget.
Was there a Casino Royale with Daniel Craig?
That's the one.
That's
I've seen those 2 movies. I've seen the 2 Daniel Craig James Bond movies.
brother.
There's like
He has
6
more
of
than
them,
2, but yeah.
Yeah,
I got 2 of them on DVD that I've seen. I like them both.
Nice. So
Nice.
you're trying to know it where he gets his nuts crushed. You know that one then.
Unless
No.
we're talking about the GoldenEye video game, what are we doing here? Fucking James Bond? Jesus Christ. Fucking nerds.
That shocks me that Nico just said that he liked 2 James Bond movies. Like, I would have never guessed. Anyway, you guys never cease to amaze me. So moving along, we see surveillance images, and then the crew watches a woman make a deposit at a bank before detaining her, and Matt tells a bank employee to freeze all the accounts. Reggie and Kate head into the bank, despite Matt's insistence that they don't. Bank records show that Diaz has a bank line of credit for nearly $18 million, so there's no cash trail and the money is invisible. Kate says they need to arrest Manuel, but Matt says they can't. They need to get him back to Mexico. So Kate goes to her boss and says she wants to make a move, but the bosses side with Matt and say that she doesn't have to worry about whether she's in bounds. She is. Kate and Reggie head to the bar for a drink, and they're met by Shane himself, John Bernthal, who makes eyes at Kate before coming over to talk to his buddy Reggie. Turns out he's Phoenix PD, and Kate's crushing. They yeehaw around the dance floor, and then go home for some coitus in a scene that could have been much shorter or scrapped altogether, but it does lead to a discovery. Kate sees the rubber band on the table, and that's the same kind of rubber band that Diaz's money launderers used to hold the money. She panics and then grabs her gun, and the two struggle for a while before Shane reverts back to his old Walking Dead ways and nearly chokes her out before Alejandro shows up, Randy Orton style, to save the day. Later, she tells Matt he used her as bait, but he says she used herself as bait, and he told her not to go into the bank. In the car, Matt presses Ted for more information and leverages his ex-wife and daughter's safety against him. And Alejandro gives Ted a wet willy to drive home how serious they are. He says they'll tell them everything they want to know as long as they promise his daughter will be safe. Next, Kate thanks Alejandro, who tells her Ted wasn't after her. He just wanted to know what they knew. He tells her to get some rest and that tomorrow Diaz will be called back to Mexico and they'll take a leg from the cartel. What'd you guys think?
All right, so something else I really like a lot is the relationship between Alejandro and Graver. I mean, you get that there's this history there between them, but what we see on screen is almost just assumed. The two play that beautifully, and I like the mysterious aspect of that. They have almost no dialogue on screen. Yeah, that may be because, like we mentioned earlier, the fact that they cut almost all of Benicio's lines. But I like to think that it's basically to just keep Kate and therefore us in the dark, and we never fully read into what they're planning until the very end, just like Kate. I think the next one, Sicario 2, does play a little bit more into their relationship, but I like this better. I do love the bank scene, though. Kate wants to take control and do what she does, and it all ends up backfiring on her. But Graver's one step ahead. Fucking brilliant. I love that. But, she should know better. Come on now. Anybody knows that if you see John Barenthal fuckface Shane himself, you run. Homeboy is trouble. And way to go, Reggie. Worst fucking FBI agent of all time. Guy was your boy. Sheesh. Fun fact here. For their fight scene, John Barenthal assured Emily Blunt that he was an experienced boxer and that she could hit him at full strength. She did. And somehow knowing that makes me happy. Makes me happier. There was actually a written sex scene here, too. Like after The Punisher. That's a John Barenthal MCU reference, Nico and Mike. After the parent Punishers picked up. But Blunt didn't agree to the nudity and the producers took it out. Del Toro agreed with Blunt. Now, Taylor Sheridan, I mean, listen, I get it, man. Trust me, I do. But in hindsight, it doesn't make any sense. And it seems forced as hell anyway, so I'm glad they cut it. I mean, they have almost no relationship. And for her to go straight from trying to have sex with her hitman to fucking Benicio del Toro just because he's there, like, who does she think she is? Lori Grimes? I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
There can never be enough Lori Grimes slander on these shows. I feel like I would be really good at watching surveillance, right? I mean, I've got a lot of experience keeping my attention on multiple screens Saturdays in the fall for the last 15 years. Here until recently, Sundays too, watching the NFL, quad box. I feel like I'd be really good at knowing what was going on surveillance. I think I'd do that really well. By the way, every time I see or hear the word surveillance, I think of that Stephen A. Smith clip from fucking the daytime soap opera. You're under surveillance. It's so good. He's got a smooth. Wait, I forgot I'm supposed to do smooth voice here. Let me transition. Yeah, I really liked it. Gatiss being smart and logical. For once, I'm actually okay with a character going by the books and doing things the right way. I think her morals and character are in the right place. I'm not going to lie. A lot of these cartel big drug guys are a lot like this. Big house, normal family with a swimming pool. Their workforce is overworked and underpaid just like the rest of us. Just a different bird with feathers, right? I mean, I think I like that we get a little shot of Hefe kind of looking down at his pool and it's his family in there. Show you these are real people that are doing this kind of stuff. I thought that was a nice shot there. Let me tell you something. Sorry, that's as loud as I'm going to get because Shane is here, or John Barenthal playing another. It's like the Pokemon meme that's going around right now about Machamp, Machamp, and Machop, or whatever their fucking names are. This is basically just Shane in a different fucking movie, right? I mean, that's what this is. I actually like that we get this bar scene. I know you mentioned that it could have been cut, and I can get that, right? But I actually kind of like it. I mentioned Daniel Kaye being in the Snow Bunnies again, so that's the second movie, our third movie now I've seen him in where that's what he's into. So good for him. Look, I don't know nothing about all that Pokemon stuff. I'm not a nerd. The fuck will? Come on, man, that's not fair. Anyway, but I will say, attaboy, Shane, attaboy. He pulled off another one at the bar. Fucking Kate fell for his charm. That's crazy, man. Haven't you seen The Walking Dead, Kate? Haven't you seen that you're playing with fire? You might get burned by Shane. Shane Bernthal. I'm kidding. I just mixed up all of his names. Guess I wanted to do. Then she almost got choked out, which I thought was a really intense scene. I went from kind of having a good time with it to, oh, shit, we're not going to kill off Kate, right? I hope not. She kind of got lucky. Again, I put that Reggie being into snow is, it kind of checks out from the Get Out movie. So again, he goes from one to the next. Good for him. I will say, last thing here, and I liked all this stuff with the Shane stand-in character here. I thought it was really well done. There's a wet willy in there, all that stuff. But I get confused why we keep coming back to this dad and son. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I haven't not been, maybe it's just me, but I wasn't buying all that. I don't know the side plot of that. So anyway, go ahead.
Mike, before Nico goes, you also got to remember, what was the Black Mirror episode that Daniel Kaluuya was in? 10 million
Merits? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Also into the white women.
True. So, that's true. That's true. Damn, he's got hey, brother, we call that a habit where I'm from.
Yeah, he's a milkman. Kate and former Indianapolis Colt Reggie Wayne found out they can't arrest former Miami Hurricane coach Manny Diaz. It has to be quite befuddling to them, right? Josh Brolin, I have noticed, is just chilling in every scene. He wasn't joking about being tired before taking this film, was he? He got soft hands, brother. I'd have done 3 movies by the time he got done with this one. Kate does the right thing talking to her boss, but gets told to piss off, basically. But damn, I thought that was smooth, Reggie. I got to use that. I'll go get a table line to get free stuff going forward. Brian, next time we're at a con, I'm going to go get us a table. You just pay for everything. This movie just picked up. Let me tell you something. Shane Walsh is here. Hell yeah. I laughed when Reggie said he's a redneck. He's got a wife in a trailer. I thought that was funny. John Bernthal, he looks like he'd play the hell out of a church league softball team, doesn't he? Damn Kate, she's aching for a quake, and Shane made this happen quick, didn't he? Things escalate quickly here as all hell breaks loose. Good eye of Kate recognizing that bracelet that, connects to the drug cartel. I think John Bernthal is great at portraying emotion on his face. Great job as Alejandro pulls that gun on him. I laughed as Kate opens that whole box of cigarettes. There's not a lot of humor in it, but it's subtle and it worked. I thought the humor was good. I laughed at Ted asking, how you want me to talk if you keep hitting me? That did get a good chuckle out of me. Alejandro torturing folks with wet willies. I laughed again. I don't know. Beating the hell out of somebody shouldn't be funny, but this one was. But it's got to be a tough realization for Kate wanting to bang the man after you, as she says. Whew.
All right. So we get some overhead shots of the desert before our happy family in Mexico has breakfast in bed with a son. Kate and Reggie meet back at the motel with Matt and the squad, and Matt says they're going hunting. Matt says they'll need a 4th of July on steroids level diversion. Matt tells Kate and Reggie that they'll hang back, and we find out the only reason is they're there is because CIA can't operate on domestic soil without a domestic agency attached. Reggie tries to get her to walk, but to no avail. She has to know what they were used for. We see a Mexican police car get loaded down with yayo in the trunk, and our happy dad is the driver. The thunder rolls and the lightning strikes, and tension amps up, and we see Matt and crew move towards the tunnel. We switch to a cool night vision camera look, and we also get thermal vision camera looks. Gotta believe Villanueva just wanted to flex his budget with these shots. They move into the tunnel, and the Oscar-nominated score from Johan Johansson goes crazy here. It was also Oscar-nominated for Best Achievement in Sound Editing. Both make sense. I'm surprised it didn't win either. We hear a struggle, but the thermal vision camera is focused on the footsteps on the trail until we see 2 dead bodies. Up ahead of Kate and Reggie, gunfire rings out as the squad advances. We cut to the Mexican cop car being unloaded, and they hear the gunfire from the tunnel. Alejandro shoots one of the men, and when Kate approaches with her gun drawn, Alejandro shoots Kate in their bulletproof vest. What the heck, Alejandro? Whose side are you on here? He tells her to never point a weapon at him again and takes off in the cop car. As Matt and company lament having to babysit, Reggie says that they've got to go back for Kate. Before they re-enter the tunnel, though, Kate emerges and lands a right hook on Matt before he tosses her to the ground. Kate and Reggie are subdued, and he tells Kate she went up the wrong tunnel. And what she saw was Alejandro's working to restore order, and that he's basically a mercenary for hire so that he can find the person who cut off his wife's head and threw his daughter into a vat of acid. Kate says she's not covering for them, and Matt tells her that would be a major mistake. And the next set of scenes is the ending.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you guys have brought it up twice. These shots Villanueva does of like the Mexican terrain. Somebody please go tell Kubrick, like, this is how it's done. 17 seconds, not fucking 45 minutes. But anyway. Reggie Wayne sure is being a bitch in this set of scenes, isn't he? Like, did that man talk to Peyton Manning like that? I hope not. But on a real note, it is kind of funny how they find out how they were just being used for legal reasons here and basically to stay the fuck out of the way. Honestly, they seem way in over their heads anyway. I mean, they get to the tunnel opening and it's even more apparent that they're in over their heads, in my opinion. But beautiful shots, by the way, of them suiting up right at sunset, about to go in the tunnel. DGG should have taken notes doing Halloween 2018. That's when my man Michael should have been putting on his mask from the back of the car. But anyway, when Emily Blunt hits her head on the top of that tunnel here, watching it the first time I saw it, and I thought, I wonder if that shit was on purpose or if they just kept it in. Sure enough, factually, Villanueva said that in an interview that he left that take in because it added realism to the mission and the film itself. And I also love the first-person POV shots in the tunnels themselves. I mean, for the sequence, the night vision goggles obviously were non-functional, and a props man actually heated the soles of his shoes so the footprints would register more prominently throughout the length of the shot. The two systems that were used, this was interesting to me, one for night vision and one for thermal imaging in order to differentiate between the two points of views. The production only had use of the FLIR infrared camera for 1 day. So anyway, either way, made for some incredible visuals, in my opinion. I agree with you, Dustin. Honestly, I got it, but I hated Kate here trying to go against what's going on. That's the only issue I have with the movie. Is it realistic? Maybe. But I wanted her to kind of fall in line and get shit done instead of honestly, wanting to throw up roadblocks because there's no, that's like real life. There's no gray area with some people. It's all black and white. And that's just not life.
They open this door and it's a hotel room full of big sweaty men. I mean, Matt's shirtless in there. What the fuck's going on in this hotel room? Some are in camo. What the fuck is happening in here? Again, I bet that room smells crazy. Anyway, although I will say, Matt walking around shirtless, I have to tell a small story. And I know Nico may not remember this because he may not have been there in the morning when I woke up. But I stayed the night at him and J-Mac's apartment at the time. And I had that big third room that you didn't have a roommate for back then, Nico. I woke up and I forgot that J-Mac had slept on the couch or had fallen asleep in a couch or in a chair. And I went out there and nothing but my underwear hung over his shit from the night before. You guys know what I did the night before too. So that was crazy. I woke up, nothing but my underwear, and J-Mac's up playing video game. And he goes, God damn, put some fucking clothes on, Mike. I was like, all right, man, my bad. I didn't know you were out here. Anyway, I had to tell that story. Never knew when I was going to get to actually tell that story. Again, a lot more beautiful nature shots, including one that looks like a thunderstorm, which made me miss fucking thunderstorms. I'm ready for that late spring, early summer rain, those fucking dark clouds rolling in. Let's go. I can feel it in my bones. I know they're prepping for a big sting operation here. I didn't care about all that shit because I was just looking at the sunset. That shit was gorgeous. That part of the country, that part of Arizona is absolutely beautiful. Again, I loved it. Pet peeve, and I talked about it a little bit on this show, I think, way, way, way back in the day. I fucking hate night vision scenes, man. I do. And they don't really do anything for me personally. I would rather just not do it. I know they have to because it's at night and they're in these tunnels and they got to do what they got to do, and it's fine. But I'm just not a big fan of seeing something through the night vision goggles. So the movie, there's scenes in the movie Quarantine that kind of have that effect, and God, I hate it. Anyway, but I like the stuff in the tunnels and the following them around and stuff. I think, this feels like a real standoff that you would see kind of there's some realistic stuff there. Cold as shit from Alejandro, basically just shooting at Kate because he wanted to tell her to fuck off. Don't point a gun at me. That's cold as shit. That's a bad man. You don't want to fuck with him. But I also knew there was a little bit of an edge to Alejandro, the character, from the very beginning when we're introduced. And I kind of like that they covered, this later, but he doesn't necessarily work for the Colombian cartel. He works for a lot of people. He works for everybody, kind of that dialogue with Matt. So again, really good character, and a good villain / not villain, for lack of a better term, I guess. He's an anti-hero. Last thing, I'm with you, Brian. I'm torn on Kate because I kind of like her standing up as character. It checks in character. It checks out for her, kind of standing up for herself, standing up for her beliefs and her morals. But there's a part of me that goes, just quit trying to be a fucking narc. You guys got what you were looking for. Let's move the fuck on here, okay? It's going to be okay. So, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Like I mentioned in our breakdowns for the scene by scene, I got to agree 100% with you, Dustin. Beautiful overhead shots. You're right. Kubrick would be proud of these bad boys. I know Brian loved them as well. I thought it was a nice reveal that Kate and Reggie are only there because the CIA can't operate without them. But I do question, they're FBI agents. Do they not know that? I don't know. It's not a nitpick, but I'm just wondering, do they not know that really? The buildup of these officers going into the tunnels is taking a little while, but the music that's coinciding is getting me fired up. I'm not going to lie. I'm ready to go shoot some people too. For the thermal shots, they used, and I don't know if you do it letter by letter or if you just say it. I'm just going to go letter by letter. They used the FLIR SE 8300 thermal vision camera. Mike, I hear you, but I thought the thermal vision shots looked incredible in the movie. I'm sure this shootout scene had to be filmed last so Josh Brolin could be well rested for it. Man's finally bouncing around and doing some things. He had to get rested from his last movie, so it's good to see him moving around. Alejandro, he's not fucking around, though. He shot Kate and told her to get back to work. I would hate to have that brother as a boss. Shout out to Emily Blunt, though. Hell of a right hand she just gave Matt. I was impressed. Yeah, this is a tough reality here, though. I thought this was some strong dialogue. There would be no drug lords or cartels if a bunch of people weren't using the drugs. It's the truth. I thought that was a big mic drop. I enjoyed this set of scenes the most since the opening. Good shootout, some layers revealed in Alejandro's character. Let's see how it ends. And Alejandro is really about to take off.
Yeah, here we go. Alejandro and Silvio continue their drive, and we see taillights up ahead, and it's their target. Alejandro tells Silvio to speed up and pull the car over. The driver of the car, Diaz, grabs a gun from his passenger seat, and Silvio uses the car speaker to tell Diaz to exit the vehicle. When Silvio gets out, Alejandro shoots Silvio in the back of the head and then shoots Diaz in the leg. Alejandro makes Diaz get into his driver's seat, and he gets in the back seat. They arrive at a gate, and after the guard says it's clear, Alejandro shoots the guard. They pull up to the house where they're greeted by 3 guards who Alejandro disposes. He navigates his way through the house, killing another guard on the way, and finds Fausto eating dinner with his family. He sits at the table with them with his gun drawn, and Fausto asks Alejandro if he thinks his wife would be proud of what he's become. Fausto tells Alejandro it wasn't personal, and Alejandro says for him it is. Alejandro says it's time to meet God and shoots Fausto's wife and kids first before shooting Fausto. Cold-blooded. We catch back up with Kate, who's ripping a cig on her balcony, and Alejandro tells her from inside he recommends not standing on balconies for a while. She goes inside, where he has a gun in hand, and tells her to pop a squat. He tells her to sign a paper saying everything they did was by the book, but she says she can't. He gives her some encouragement by putting the gun under her chin, and she quickly changes her stance. He tells her to move to a small town, dismantles the gun, and leaves. As he walks across the parking lot, Kate puts the gun back together and aims it at him, but she can't do it. Back at Silvio's home, we see his son by his empty bed, and his mom takes him to a soccer match. As he kicks the ball towards the goal, we hear gunfire ring out in the background, and the movie ends.
Ooh, what a ending. Shit, I mean, just listening to you talk and thinking about that last scene and Del Toro talking about this is a land for wolves now. holy shit, like that was man, a deep ending. I obviously just all Del Toro's movie here the rest of the way, in my opinion. I mean, you know how you see clips of movies and shit on social media and you're like, damn, that's 2 minutes. Like that has me invested now. What fucking movie is this? That's what this dinner scene was. And I saw that scene first, and it's not what got me to watch the movie. But when I did finally watch it, I was like, "Oh shit, that's the movie that was from." Because that impacted me so much, and that dinner scene is just so fucking intense. It's so good. In the original screenplay, Alejandro was only going to murder Alarcon. I don't know how you say that. In front of his wife, but it was later changed to his whole family. I gotta say, it was much more impactful that way. I mean, I think it made it just such a powerful scene, and that Alejandro telling Kate why in the finale and the way that whole thing went down. I mean, it's not a feel-good movie, but a damn good one in my opinion. And a wise man in the back of a Nissan Altima on the way to Days of the Dead 5 years ago once said to me, "Let me tell you how the real world works." Fantastic flicks.
Hey, that's me. I know that guy. Anyway. We get to this point in the movie, and the character of Alejandro, I kept trying to like put on what character he reminded me of. And when you say something is like a knockoff or a light or like a Temu version of something and has a negative connotation, and I don't mean that, but I can't think of any other word to say it. He's kind of playing it in the end of this movie that Del Toro is like Anton from No Country for Old Men. That's the vibe I'm getting. It's the sincerity that he puts into the role, the silence of it, the slow talking. It has that Anton vibe to it, and I really, really liked it. I love the way that it was portrayed here in the last little bit of the movie. And, that movie also has Josh Brolin, so there's another connection. First of all, I thought the guy they kind of have down there in the street, the Manny Diaz-looking motherfucker, was Hefe. Guess not. Then they pulled up, and I'm not so sure why Dustin let them borrow his mansion for this movie, but very gracious of you to do that, buddy. I mean, that was a beautiful home that you own there. And the way they pulled up to that, I was like, all right, that's really nice of Dustin to do that.
I don't own a home.
I don't either. I like this dinner table scene a ton. It is callous. It is cold. It is really well shot. There's some silence there, the stare off that the two have, and then the coldness of Alejandro to just kill his wife and kid right in front of him. And that, he wasn't going to kill him first. He wanted to make sure he watched his loved ones die, then killed them. That is some fucking cold ass shit. That's why I thought of Anton from No Country for Old Men. I really like that interaction. And, it's a toughie for Kate here, right? I mean, again, I love that end interaction as well. Her having to unwillingly, decide to go against her own morals would be a toughie there, right? If you were someone that always kind of did things by numbers, by the book, and you don't want to sign that paper and he really doesn't give you a choice unless you want your brains blown out, that would be hard. I really liked Blunt in that scene as well. She was very believable. I thought that was a well-acted scene as well. Last thing, I honestly thought that she was going to shoot this motherfucker. I thought Kate had that dog in her. She didn't have that dog in her, as Nico and Coach would say. Moment's too big, pissed down her leg.
I love the shot of Silvio leaving the car in the darkness with the police lights. Like, I thought that was a beautiful shot. Alejandro, he might be one of the coldest dudes we've ever had on this show. Don't listen to me and your daughters will be violated by 20 men. That line it got to me. That one was rough. Now he drops 3 guards at the gate. This dude is like a sprained ankle, nothing to play with. And nothing ruins a good dinner quite like an overly political person or an armed father seeking revenge. Fuck Fausto, he deserves to die, but man, it was brutal seeing the wife and kids shot first. He made sure that he felt that pain. Fausto saying it wasn't personal. For me, it is. Alejandro, that reply was hard, man. Like, I felt that. I kind of feel bad for Emily Blunt. She's probably the star and the headliner of the movie, but she's been getting abused, lied to, and just getting her ass whooped all movie. If I'm Kate, fuck my job. I've seen and know what Alejandro is capable of. Here you go. Here's my John Hancock. Get out my apartment, please. Great emotional acting by Blunt here while forced to sign the paperwork. I thought that was very good. And I'm just going to tell Kate now, small towns are nice, Kate. Come on and join us. Kate, we all know you ain't going to shoot him. Just let the brother go. I thought the ending of the movie was a bleak reality that a lot of people have to live with in these scary situations, and I did feel bad for Silvio's family.
Rednecks have opinions too, Nico, according to iTunes.
I just don't care to hear them.
I would have pointed right at that man and said, "Don't call my name, Alejandro. Don't call." That's a Lady Gaga reference. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, it
Don't
is.
call my name.
Yeah, social media. I'll go ahead and knock out X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. We had none. Go ahead.
All right, that was quick. All right, I'll knock out the Graham. We only got one. K Scanlon 653 for a teammate of the show. Absolutely love this movie. As writing debuts go, is Taylor Sheridan listed among the greats for this gem of a film? I think Brian would definitely agree. I'm not familiar with this game, so I can't answer that.
I do like Landman.
You
so-
should be. Watch Landman. Shit's great.
Will do.
Plus, Ollie Larder's in it, but don't look at her too hard. She's
Nico said, will do. I know that tone and that response. He ain't ever
me
watched
too.
it.
He ain't watching that shit.
No, I do want to watch Landman. I've heard it's really good. My coworker watches it at work
It's
before
Billy
he falls
Bob
asleep.
Thornton, buddy. It's fucking Billy Bob Thornton and Allie Larder. I mean, what's wrong with it? Nothing.
well. That was the only comment we had on social media because none on the Book of Faces either.
Well,
All
I guess this movie slept on too. Hey,
Got any fun facts, Brian? Nico? Mike? I got one
only
as
have
well.
one, man.
I got one as well. Go ahead.
Okay. Josh Brolin, who played Thanos. Benicio del Toro, who played the Collector. Daniel Kaluuya, Wakabi. John Barenthal, Frank Castle / The Punisher. Maximiliano Hernandez, Agent Stillwell, are all part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, they
also,
are.
Emily Blunt was originally cast as Black Widow, but had to pull out due to some scheduling conflicts. I am glad with Scarlett getting that, but I do think that she should have been in Fantastic Four, her and John Krasinski. That's just my opinion.
I'm fine with her getting another role, but not the Black Widow. ScarJo and Florence Pugh gave me the best movie of all time, Black Widow. So, yeah, we're good.
Do you guys
fucker-
agree with that, Mike and Nico?
What the fuck are y'all talking about, man? Who are all these people? Don't care about this nerd
Um,
shit. Well,
His mic must have cut
actually-
out. It was Marvel Cinematic. He listed their names, so his mic must have cut out if you're asking who those people are. But anyway,
Nerds.
the only other one
Yeah,
I've got
hottie.
is that Emily Blunt actually got food poisoning while shooting the movie in Mexico and required IV fluids between scenes. And then Josh Brolin was in The Road Killers with David Arquette. Boom, to the point.
That's an easy connection. There you go. Nice. All right. So, this movie was made for a cool $30 million budget and worldwide ended up grossing back $85 million worldwide box office. So not great, but not too bad. Honestly, made more money than I would have thought of because I'd never heard of it until Brian picked it. So there you go.
I'd say a lot of that budget had to go to reconstructing the entire border.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say
I
so
think so
too.
too. I think so too. Also, I know Brian kind of hinted at it. I didn't know there was a second one. Probably not going to watch that, guys. I don't know what's. I'm probably not going to watch Sicario 2. Sorry. No offense. No offense.
Well, Nico, I'm changing my pick for Thriller month. I'm picking Sicario 2.
That would be
Whatever.
awesome.
I'll just watch it. I won't complain. I'm like Brian, who complains about every pick. Apparently, what's it wait for? Every
All right,
movie
well-
Dustin picks, Brian complains.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Let's go ahead and do our favorite kill, least favorite kill, and rating. I'll get us kicked off. Favorite kill, least favorite kill. I didn't really have one. I mean, they're all pretty standard for crime thrillers. I mean, they're pretty much just gunfire or bodies being hanged or the aftermath, dead bodies. So I didn't really pick one. But as far as my final thoughts in the rating, I thought there was great tension, incredible cast that more than delivered. Some of it does drag at times, I admit, but the cinematography and score make up for it. I gave it an 8.25.
I'm going to go ahead and go. I also didn't write down a favorite kill because I really, it's not really about that in this movie. There's a lot of dead people. So if you want to pick one of them, that's fine. Again, I thought this movie was good, right? It never hit like a super high peak for me, but it kept my interest, right? I thought it was a, really solid, thriller for its genre. Had some very great moments of tension, some really excellent dialogue. And I like the way this movie looks, the way the movie is shot, the effect or, whatever filter they used on camera at times that, sometimes it feels very gritty and dirty and grimy. And I like that aesthetic. I thought it was really well done. And I think the acting is top notch. There's not a bad performance in this movie. So whether you like the subject matter or not, I don't really know how bad you can rate it with acting performances as good as this. So again, top to bottom, I thought it was good. I'm glad I got to watch it. I don't know if I'll ever revisit it, but I am glad that Brian picked it so I could see it at least once and say that I did. I gave this movie a 7.
All right, I'll go now. Favorite kill, I'll go with Falcio because he's a piece of shit and deserved to die. Least favorite kill, I'm going to go with Silvio. Just a hard-working man for his family. He got took out. Hate to see it. All right, so, yeah, like Brian already knew, like, this just isn't my cup of tea personally. But, like Mike mentioned, everything about the movie is very good. Like the set pieces look great. The acting is great. The cast is great. Camera work is great. Everything about it is great. It's just not my, like, story that I'm just going to tune in that often. And what I'm going to say is the Sicario, like Dustin mentioned at the beginning, Sicario in Latin means a hired gunman or assassin. I wish they would have leaned more into Alejandro's character instead of revealing it all at the very end. You know, Dustin brought up Law Abiding Citizen, why I love that movie. So I'm not just hating on, you know, like action movies with shootouts, stuff like that, because I love that movie, obviously. But I'm invested in Clyde the whole movie. I'm intrigued the whole movie. They keep Alejandro kind of a mystery the whole movie until the very end. If I know that he's instead of at the beginning, instead of showing Silvio and, you know, getting woke up and eating breakfast, show what happens to Alejandro. Like, I want to know, like, what he's, like, his mission. I might be more invested that way. But anyway, I gave the movie a 6.5.
I feel you there, Nico. It's almost like Kate is the main character, but at the end we find out that the story is all about Alejandro. So I feel you there.
And she's just getting her ass beat all movie, like she's just there, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
To be fair, if you want that movie is Sicario too. I mean, that is Alejandro's movie the whole way through. But I mean, I know you won't watch it, but that is that movie. Just throwing that out there.
Dustin's picking it now, so I'll be watching.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I actually picked the exact same favorite kill and least favorite kill that you did, Nico, on that one. I felt bad for his family at the end. So it wasn't the fact that it was a bad kill. It just felt bad that he was dead. But I get it. Again, I love this. I love the realism. I'm going to definitely be higher than every one of you guys. I expected that to begin with, but I am glad that you did enjoy it more than I expected you would. I love how the movie stops, makes you think like, fuck, this is happening right now, all the time. I think the violence is captured just in such a way that it's hard for me to take my eyes off of this movie. It didn't feel like 2 hours to me. You know, it's a great view of war without rules of engagement. And that just shows that, you know, in reality, there are no rules to war. As much as they want to act like that there is. You know, this movie captures all of that and more, in my opinion. It got 9.75 from me. I love this one.
All right. That gives us a composite score of 7.875. IMDb, Internet Movie Database, they're right there with us, 7.7. Letterboxd 4.0. Rotten Tomatoes, 92%.
Okay.
Damn.
High praise for this movie. All right.
Hey, we got it right, I guess. All right, guys.
That's
Any
right.
final thoughts
Well,
before you shout out the
when-
blood donors?
Hey, when they agree with us,
No.
they're right. When they don't, they're not. Fuck them.
Yep.
I agree
That's
with
how it
that.
goes.
I'm going to shout out the blood donors and I'll announce my pick for next week. We're kind of moving our picks around so Mike can be on his birthday week, which, hell yeah, brother, we get it. All right, blood donors, I really appreciate y'all. Take a huge burden off of us. Can't stress that enough. Camper level reoccurring, Nina, the Horror Movie Crew podcast, Alex Seligson, Michelle Mirza, Chris Manley, and Steve Schmidt. Camp counselor reoccurring, Edwin Hernandez Gunn, Joe Swinford, Adrian Aiello, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Brooke Maley, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Dacey, Too Close to Home Pod, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, Max K, and Madison Arzola, the recent winner of our free Smile Tube digital code. So shout out to Madison. It pays to be a blood donor. We do take care of y'all when we can. So, and we really do appreciate y'all. It means a lot to us. My pick next week in Thriller Month is 2014's Nightcrawler, the Jake Gyllenhaal-led movie. I've been sitting on this pick for a while, and I think this was just the perfect time to pick it because I could definitely hear someone say it's not really a horror movie. It's more of a neo-noir thriller movie. But, hey, I'm picking it.
Here we go.
I'm excited.
You're going to see an incredible
Good.
You're going to see an incredible performance by Jake Gyllenhaal, even if you don't like the movie. Final thoughts, guys.
Good. I'm excited.
Nope.
Let's do it. I'm excited for Nightcrawler. Let's go.
Me too.
All right, like a dick, let's wrap it up.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.
Just want to remind everybody